Have you ever had something to say at work and decided not to say it? Not because you didn't care, not because you didn't have the words, but because you quietly calculated the risk. You weighed the possible outcomes, the tone shifts, the labels, the retaliation, subtle or overt. So you swallowed the words, you bit your tongue, you told yourself, this isn't the hill that I want to die on. And maybe that choice kept you safe, but it also stayed with you. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone and you're not weak. Today, we're talking about the communication conundrum so many people live with, what it cost us to stay silent, why silence is sometimes strategic, and how to remain healthy, whole, and optimistic, even when you can't say everything out loud.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Welcome back to Office Optimism. I'm Sharala, and this is a conversation for the thoughtful, the careful, the observant, the people who feel deeply and choose wisely. Let's name something clearly. People are not silent because they have nothing to say. They're silent because they're navigating power. Power dynamics shape communication more than we like to admit. Who has authority? Who is protected? Who has a history of being dismissed? And who can afford to rock the boat? For many people, silence is not fear, it's discernment. You may be protecting your livelihood, avoiding emotional exhaustion, managing past experiences of being punished for honesty, or navigating identity-based risk that others don't have to think about. This is why phrases like, just speak up, can feel dismissive, because the truth is, speaking up is not equally safe for everyone. And knowing when not to speak can be an act of intelligence, not avoidance. But here's the part we don't talk about enough: the internal cost of unspoken truths. Even when silence is strategic, it still has a cost. What we don't say doesn't disappear. It often turns inward. It shows up as replaying conversations that never happened, carrying frustration home, tension in the body, and emotional leakage in unrelated moments. Maybe even feeling unseen or minimized. You might find yourself thinking, why does this bother me so much? Or why can't I just let it go? Because you're not just holding a thought, you're holding meaning. And humans are not designed to store unresolved emotional weight indefinitely. Here's the key distinction I want to offer. Not every thought needs expression, but every feeling needs processing. Silence becomes unhealthy when it turns into self-erasure. And that's where we begin to feel depleted instead of protected. So let's discuss the act of processing what you don't say. So what do we do when speaking up isn't the safest option, but holding everything inside isn't sustainable? This is where we shift from expression to integration. First, separate "can I say this" from "how do I honor this?" Just because you can't say something out loud doesn't mean it doesn't deserve acknowledgement. Try asking, what am I feeling beneath the words? What value or boundary feels crossed? What does this moment say about what matters to me? Turn the silence into information, not suppression. Second, externalize safely. Unspoken thoughts need a place to land. This might look like journaling without editing, voice noting what you wish you could say, writing the email that you'll never send, or talking it through with a trusted mentor, therapist, or EAP counselor. You're not being dramatic, you're being responsible with your emotional health. Third, reality check the risk without gaslighting yourself. Ask gently, is this unsafe or uncomfortable? Is this a timing issue, a power issue, or a values mismatch? Or what's the actual risk and what's the emotional residue? This isn't about forcing yourself into speaking. It's about clarity instead of quiet self-blame. Fourth, choose containment over collapse. Sometimes silence is the right call, but it should be chosen, not endured. Chosen silence says, I'm protecting my energy right now. Endured silence says, I don't matter here. We're aiming for the first every time. Let's take a moment to talk about discernment versus defeat. Here's a powerful reframe. Choosing not to speak doesn't mean you've lost your voice. It means you're protecting it. There's wisdom in knowing when to engage, when to pause, and when the system, not you, needs to change. Optimism doesn't require constant openness. It requires self-respect. And sometimes the most hopeful act is recognizing this environment doesn't get access to every part of me. That's not shrinking. That's boundaries. And boundaries are not pessimistic. They are what allow you to stay in the work without burning out. Let's take a moment for your joyful point, your pause to come back to yourself. Wherever you are, exhale. Now gently reflect. What is one thought or feeling you've been holding back this week? Not to judge it, just to notice it. What does it need from you right now? Validation, release, rest, or perspective? And where can you safely let it soften instead of carrying it alone? Breathe that in and let it settle. You are allowed to be thoughtful and whole, quiet and confident, careful and deeply optimistic. We've now made it to the Office Optimism focal point. If you ever felt like you had to choose between honesty and safety, I want you to know that you're not failing. You're navigating complexity. And the goal isn't to say everything. The goal is not to lose yourself in what goes unsaid. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode resonated, give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been carrying more than they can say. Until next time, keep shining. Bye-bye.